In this lesson, we're going to discuss remote access. This is because there's been a shift in the recent years in regards to employees working outside of their office cubicles and the office buildings. In order to support the users working remotely, it's necessary that we provide them with the ability to remotely access our networks and all the resources they contain. To do this, we provide virtual private networks and other types of connections, like secure shell, remote desktop protocol, and the virtual network computing protocol. Now, by allowing the use of remote access technologies, we can provide our users with the ability to access resources even when they're not physically located in the same place as their office or systems. Because most employees have access to high-speed internet at home or when they're traveling, we're going to use virtual private networks, or VPNs, to replace the dial-up remote access in most of our organizations. Now, VPNs, or virtual private networks, are going to allow a user to create an encrypted tunnel over an untrusted network such as the internet. Then they'll be able to remotely connect securely to our enterprise networks. We can secure our VPNs using not only a username and password, but also many other factors of authentication. The VPN tunnel itself can also be encrypted using strong encryption technologies such as AES, which is the Advanced Encryption System, using a 256-bit shared encryption key. These VPN connections provide a layer of encryption around the connection, creating a tunnel and secure circuit between the end user's device and the VPN concentrator that's terminating the connection inside of our enterprise networks. VPNs are commonly used by teleworkers and travel employees to be able to remotely access corporate resources such as our shared file servers. This type of VPN is known as Remote Access VPN or Client-to-Site VPN. Another remote access option is the use of Secure Shell, or SSH. Now, SSH is commonly used by system administrators and network technicians to remotely access and configure servers and network devices over a text-based command line interface. Now, in the old days, technicians used to use Telnet to be able to remotely access these devices, but this is no longer considered secure because it sends data across the network in unencrypted clear text. Secure Shell, on the other hand, is going to utilize encryption for all of its network connections to protect the data during transmission. To ensure that our SSH connections remain secure, it's recommended that we utilize access control lists to prevent inadvertent connections. In addition to this, we also want to use SSH version 2 for best security and protection. The next protocol we need to talk about is the Remote Desktop Protocol, or RDP. Now, the Remote Desktop Protocol is a proprietary protocol that was developed by Microsoft to allow administrators and users to remotely connect to other computers using a graphical user interface instead of using command line interface like you would with SSH. This allows the user to operate the computer as if they were simply sitting in front of the Windows desktop. They can use their mouse and keyboard, and it looks just the same. RDP is going to provide for native encryption as a part of its design, but it doesn't provide for authentication. So we need to enable TLS or SSL for service authentication, and we should require a digital certificate for increased security when using RDP as a remote access method to connect to our servers and clients remotely. VNC, or Virtual Network Computing, is the next protocol we need to discuss. VNC is similar to the RDP protocol, but is platform independent. If we need to access a Linux, OS X, or Windows machine using a graphical user interface, then we might want to use VNC. This is a great solution because it's fully cross-platform and it's open source. In order to use VNC, we must have a VNC server set up on the machine that we want to access, a VNC client on the machine that we want to access it from, and a VNC protocol known as Remote Frame Buffer, or RFB, to communicate between those systems. VNC, or Virtual Network Computing, normally operates over port 5900, and it should only be used internally to your own network because it's not encrypted by default. Now, if you're going to connect over a connection outside of your enterprise network, you can do that by connecting over a VPN or an SSH connection first and then tunneling VNC over that connection. This will give you the graphical user interface of VNC with the more secure encryption of VPN and SSH tunneling. Now, while remote access provides users additional capabilities while traveling, the biggest benefit of remote access is really for our administrators. Through a remote administration system, administrators can remotely configure servers, workstations, or network devices no matter where they are in the world. Instead of waiting on an administrator to get in their car and drive to the office and network on a broken Windows station, these days, those administrators can remotely access that machine without ever leaving their desk, and this is known as remote assistance. Remote assistance relies on the same technology as desktop sharing and application sharing, like RDP and VNC. By creating a secure AES encrypted tunnel between the administrator's machine and workstation, the administrator can see what is displayed on the screen and can even enter the mouse and keyboard commands for them at the remote location. As you can see, remote access solutions have become an indispensable part of today's fast-paced business world. With the advent of cloud computing, remote access solutions have become even more popular. Cloud-based remote access solutions such as AWS Workspaces and Microsoft Azure Remote App provide an innovative and cost-effective solution for remote workers. AWS Workspaces is a cloud-based remote access solution offered by Amazon Web Services. It is designed to provide users with a virtual desktop experience that can be accessed from anywhere. This solution provides users with the ability to access their desktop applications and data from any device with internet access without the need to install anything on their local device. AWS Workspaces provide users with the ability to customize their virtual desktop, install their own applications, and run multiple operating systems. AWS Workspaces also offers several security features such as multi-factor authentication and encryption of data in transit and at rest. This makes AWS Workspace a secure option for remote workers. In addition, AWS Workspaces is designed to be highly scalable, allowing organizations to quickly add or remove virtual desktops as needed. Microsoft Azure Remote App is a cloud-based remote access solution offered by Microsoft. This solution provides users with a virtualized application experience that can be accessed from anywhere. Users can access the applications from any device with an internet connection without the need to install anything on their local device. Microsoft Azure Remote App offers a few features designed to improve the remote application experience for the users. For example, users can access their applications from a variety of devices, including Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. In addition, Microsoft Azure Remote App provides users with a seamless experience with the ability to access their applications from multiple devices without losing any work. Microsoft Azure Remote App also offers a number of security features such as multi-factor authentication and encryption of data in transit and at rest. This makes Microsoft Azure Remote App a secure option for remote workers. These cloud-based remote access solutions, such as AWS Workspace and Microsoft Azure Remote App, provide organizations with a cost-effective, scalable, and secure solution for remote workers. To deliver these services using a traditional web browser, they rely on the use of the Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, also known as HTTPS. HTTPS is a commonly used protocol for secure communications over the internet. It is often used in conjunction with cloud-based remote access solutions such as AWS Workspaces and Microsoft Azure Remote App to provide a secure connection between the client and the remote server. In cloud-based remote access solutions, users typically connect to the remote server over the internet using a remote client. To ensure that the communication between the client and server is secure, HTTPS is used to encrypt the data being transmitted. This helps to prevent against eavesdropping, tampering, and other types of cyber attacks. When a user accesses a cloud-based remote access solution, the client establishes an HTTPS connection to the remote server. The client and server then negotiate a shared encryption key that is used to encrypt all further communication between the two. This encryption key is unique to the connection, so even if an attacker is able to intercept the encrypted data, they will not be able to see or read it without the encryption key. AWS Workspaces and Microsoft Azure Remote App both support HTTPS for secure remote access. For example, in AWS Workspaces, the user connects to the remote server using the Amazon Workspace client, and the connection is encrypted using HTTPS. In Microsoft Azure Remote App, the user connects to the remote server using the remote desktop client, and the connection is encrypted using RDP over HTTPS. In addition to encryption, HTTPS also provides authentication. The server presents a digital certificate to the client, which the client can use to verify the server's identity. This helps prevent man-in-the-middle attacks where an attacker can impersonate the remote server and intercept sensitive information. Overall, HTTPS is an important concept of cloud-based remote access solutions such as AWS Workspaces and Microsoft Azure Remote App. By encrypting the communication between the client and server and providing authentication, HTTPS helps to ensure that the remote access experience is secure and private. So remember, when it comes to remote access types, there are many ways that an end user can connect back to the enterprise network or cloud-based resources, including the use of traditional VPNs, secure shell, remote desktop protocol, virtual network computing, cloud-based remote access, and access that relies on HTTPS.